Hello everyone, this is Quentin at The Young Enthusiast. I hope you guys are having a nice Sunday today. I have some pretty great news to tell you guys. It has now been a full year since I finally got my ultimate dream car. My number one dream car, the Mazda MX-5 Miata. And I tell you, this is the reason why 2020 was such a good year. I mean, this car's got me through 2020, which caused everybody a lot of troubles, including me. And this thing's just my number one car. I've had it for a year. It's probably one of the longest times I've actually kept a car. The only car I've ever had longer was the CB7. And man, this car has not given me that much trouble. Like, it's great. It's really been great. I mean, I can't believe it's been a year already. And in 1 year, a lot of things have changed. I put about 6,000 miles on this thing when I first got it. Since when I first got it, it had 158,000 miles when I first got it. Now it is at 164,606. And this thing still starts up like a dream. No problems. Just starts right up. Still have the buzzer that a lot of people don't like. Starts up, no problem. Oil pressure goes up. No lights. Ain't that something? Heat still works good. Interior still clean for the most part. Except for the garbage I got in here that I need to clean. Gears shift good. Like, for real. This car is not giving me any problems. Now, one thing that's different from when I first got it, I can actually let the top down. So we're going to get ready to drive this thing. I want to show you guys how it's like to drive this thing now, since a lot of things have changed on it. But first, I want to tell you guys what the maintenance has been like on this thing. You know, for those who are looking for new Miatas, this was at 164,000 miles. As I said, I bought it at 158. So I'm going to show you all the things that I've replaced and how many times I've changed the oil since I got it. Pretty much just tell you all the stuff you can expect for a car with this amount of mileage. So here's pretty much everything that's been changed since I got this car a year ago by order. So the first thing I changed on this thing was the front hub bearings. This thing's got new front hub bearings on both sides. I bought them from a company called Torque, TRQ, for about 87 bucks. I bought this like the first week I got this car because I heard that the bearings starting to squeal and stuff. And that was the first repair that I did. And boy, did it really make a difference. The car drove a lot better. I actually drove it to Birmingham to go to World of Wheels that day. It actually turned out great. So the second thing I've done to this thing, I had to repair something. This is after its first oil change. When I changed the oil back then, I would use Valvoline 1030 for semi-synthetic high mileage oil, because that's about pretty much what you're supposed to use. You know, original manufacturer specs and all that. So the second thing I actually ended up replacing about 3 or 4 months later was this master cylinder right here, clutch master cylinder. I also replaced the slave cylinder that's way down there next to the starter. At the same time, we're gonna leave this hood closed, half closed a little bit, because I also got something to show you that I did to it. But yeah, I replaced the clutch master cylinder and the slave cylinder. Both of those were about 40 bucks together, along with the brake fluid. So that wasn't really that hard. It took me like an hour to actually do that. Yeah, the car almost left me stranded before I actually before I did that. Like, the clutch just went straight to the floor. I was barely able to shift. I was barely able to actually make it home. It just did that one time when I went to a car meet, Magic City Octane, and it basically nearly left me stranded. Oh, I also forgot to mention. Also, no, I take that back. I ended up buying the wiper blades later. Okay, so the third thing I ended up doing, fourth thing. I think, yeah, after that, the fourth thing I did was got the exhaust. Yeah, I got the exhaust work done. If you guys remember that video, we actually got a lot of good comments about the exhaust. Even though I drive a Ford Mustang GT, the Miata is still the loudest car I have. Isn't that something? But it sounds good though. I really like the way it sounds. A lot of people do, actually. And the thing I did next, after getting those wheels, was getting these wiper blades. Yeah, I got the wiper blades for about 15 bucks at AutoZone, the Value Craft ones. Because I wasn't really going to drive this thing in the rain often, especially at the time, since I had the Nissan Maxima at the time. Now I ended up getting these wheels. I actually ended up getting these wheels about September or October. And these wheels have been great. Makes the car ride a lot better. I bought them for like $600. It came with good tires. I actually got these lug nuts from work. Believe it or not. That's the perk of working where I work at. And then I did this ghetto job of a back window. Since last spring, the back window got busted in a storm. But it still works good. I'm going to get me a new top soon. I've been on the look for hard tops, but I'm probably going to end up just going to the top shop in Birmingham. It costs about the same, $1,000. And the last thing that I spent on this car was a new starter. I don't know if y'all can see it though. Yeah, I bought a brand new starter. That's it under the hood. Yeah, this car almost left me stranded again about a month ago now. It was actually when I first bought this Mustang. The starter wouldn't start the car, so I ended up hitting it with a wrench. Actually got it started. After that, I went straight to the internet and bought a starter. Got it the next day. I had to drive the Mustang when I wanted to drive the Miata, and you guys know how annoying that can be. But I ended up getting the Miata to start again. It actually started normally after that, but that Saturday I ended up replacing it before I left work. It took me like an hour or two. I heard once you do it once, it gets really, really easy. But that's pretty much all I spent on this car. I probably spent about $800 on the car. About $900 on the car. The wheels being the most expensive thing I've ever bought on it so far. I'm pretty sure that top's going to eclipse that easily, though. But yeah, this car's been a great driving car. And guess what? It's something you guys probably don't know. Well, most likely don't know. Unless you know me in real life. I still got the stock daisies. You know, this bullshit that my neighbor put on there. But yeah, I still got the stock daisies. All 4 of them. They're full there. So if I ever want to put those back on the Miata one day, I can actually do it. I tried selling it on Facebook. No one wanted them. But yeah, I still got them. Well, let's get into the driving portion of the video. I'm pretty sure you guys are excited to see how it drives now. There's also one thing that I forgot to mention. I've also got a new radiator. And I've also did a coolant flush on this car with some very high-tech coolant. That cost me about $160. But it wasn't that bad though. But as you can see, the engine's running smooth at 164,000 miles. Mobil 1 oil filter and Mobil 1 fully synthetic 10W30 engine oil. Alright, now let's get into the driving part for real. I just forgot to mention that. Alright, on to the driving portion. So I found this phone, this new camera that I'm using. It's actually able to deter wind noise a lot better than my other cameras are. So I'll be able to do this actually. It's a little cold outside, so I'll go ahead and wear a little hat so I basically don't freeze myself to death. But this car's actually been pretty nice though. The heat works great now, a lot better than what it did before. With that new radiator. I bought that radiator off of Rock Auto for I think about $80. Yeah, about $80. And I had someone at the shop do it at where I work at. I had them do it for about $40. It would have been a lot less if I didn't get that coolant flush too. That's the perk of working where I work at. But as you can hear, the exhaust is different. I've actually learned a couple of tricks with this car too, as you guys might be able to see if there's no traffic coming. Yeah, I've learned to drift this thing. I actually learned how to do it. I actually learned how to do it this week. Last week. It's so smooth. It's a very smooth car to drive. Gas mileage isn't that bad. No check engine lights either. I've had this car for a year. I've never seen a check engine light. Ever. That's really a good testament to how these Miatas are so reliable. Like, this thing doesn't have an easy life. I normally rev this thing up to 4,000 RPM every time I shift. 5,000 if I'm on the highway. I'm always driving this thing hard too, around corners and stuff. And the fact that I learned how to drift it, that's gonna stretch the chassis a little bit more. This car's been a good car, it really has. It's been the dream car that I've always wanted. I've never had a regret buying any of this car. I've never had a regret buying this car. I've had a lot of regrets buying the recent cars I've had, except for that Mustang so far. But this car's been great. I had a couple of scares with it, but when I actually started to trust it, this thing turned out to be great. It's easy to drive. The manual isn't so hard. I pretty much daily this thing for most of 2020. I dated it when I first got my until I first got my Maxima, and that was in like I think June. Yeah, I got that Maxima in June, and I ended up trading that Civic. And then around October, I ended up getting rid of that Civic because it stopped working. And I ended up dailying the Miata until I got that Mustang in the beginning of January. So I've pretty much been dailying this thing for most of 2020. As a daily driver, it's great. It's got enough room for me. I never complained about the room. Just talking about this car is so fun. And I forgot I was actually turning right. I didn't have to wait for the stoplight. When it comes to cruising, this car is great as well. Like, people want these grand touring cars and these luxury cars to be able to cruise with. Man, this car actually cruises really good. It might not be the most comfortable. As you can guys probably see the camera shaking, it's a bumpy ride. But at the same time, it's comfortable. You don't have to drive fast if you don't want to. And if you do want to, you can drive fast. Such an easy car to work with. And I tell you the truth, these things really have gotten very expensive. I mean, very expensive. When I first bought this car, I mean, it was already a deal that I got this car in. I already got this car cheaper than what you normally buy one for. Back then, you find one in worse condition for like 2,500 bucks, 2,000 bucks. And this is in worse condition with 200,000 miles and all that, beat up. Now, especially around summertime last year, you've been seeing models like mine go for about $3,000 to $4,000. Hell, mint ones were like 2,000. Like mint ones were like less than 50,000 miles, 40,000 miles. I've been seeing those go for like $10,000. And hell, even beat up ones that don't even drive or run, people are selling those for $1,500 now. That is crazy. So I count myself really lucky that I was able to get this. Or I would have had to wait a long time to actually get me another car. But thankfully, I work where I work, working where I work at, I would have been able to buy one. It'd take me a long time to save up money for it though. I tell you that right now. This thing's been great though. It really has. I've changed the oil on this thing, I think 4 times now. Yeah, 4 times. Changed it when I was at Chrysler before I got laid off. I changed it after I got laid off. Back then I was still using Mobile One, not Mobile One, Valvoline. Now I changed it like a couple of months after I started my job at Ford. Such a fun car around turns. And then I changed the oil last week. That's when I used the Mobile One full synthetic. The car's actually been liking it so far. The oil pressure's a lot more steady. easy to maintain. Whatever breaks, I fixed it myself, except for that radiator. Radiator is the only thing I didn't do myself. And even then, I didn't do it myself. It was still cheap. It was still cheap labor and all that. Man, this car is really what made 2020 so great. Well, guys, it's hard to believe, but it's been a year since I got this car. And it's pretty much been everything I've wanted it to be. I hope you guys like this video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more videos about the Miata. And I'll talk to you guys next time.